Week 12 of the NFL season is over, and Week 12 was kind of an interesting week because I feel like in Week 12 there was some teams that kind of got exposed as pretenders, and some teams that kind of proved that they belong in that Super Bowl contender conversation. So, let's get into this weekly recap. Starting off with the Thursday Night Football game, Indianapolis Colts at Texans. The Texans won this game 20-17. This game, if you watched it, it was a pretty boring game. The Texans offensively, they never got into rhythm. They kind of just relied on long throws downfield to win this game. And the Colts, well, Jacoby Brissett, he's not a good quarterback, and the guy is completely scared to throw a football past 10 yards. So the guy was just dumping the ball off. He didn't do much, and the Colts were just running the football. So imagine a game where one team's just running the football and the other one can't get anything going. That's what this game was. I mean, you could say it was good defense, but I call it bad offense, honestly. But I mean, at the end of the day, the Texans won though. They won 20-17. Like I said, it came down to Deshaun Watson being able to make some throws downfield and Jacoby Brissett not being able to make those throws. And because of it, the Texans are now 7-4 and the Colts are now 6-5, and the Texans are atop of their division. Next game, Giants at Bears. The Bears won this game 19-14. I mean, there's not much to talk about when it comes to this game. I mean, the Bears, offensively, they're not good. I mean, defensively, they're still good. Maybe not as good as last year, but still definitely good. But it's definitely the offense that holds them back. Mitchell Trubisky and Matt Nagy are holding the Bears back. And I'm not sure what the Bears are going to do moving forward. They should honestly move on from Trubisky. I heard Cam Newton might become available after the season, so hey, maybe go see if Cam Newton's got anything left in the tank, because Trubisky ain't it, man. Like, he is terrible. He's holding them back. I don't think Matt Nagy's it either, but I do feel like Matt Nagy deserves a second chance with an actual NFL quarterback. As far as the Giants, though, well, they fought to 2-9. I mean, there's not much else to say about the Giants. They're a kind of a young team, not very good, or not good at all, honestly. They have a young quarterback, young receivers, a young running back. Their defense is somewhat young. They got young pieces, Dexter Lawrence, DeAndre Baker. They need to add on to that and see where they go from here. But right now, I mean, Daniel Jones has shown some little glimpses of, being a star. But he needs to be more consistent. But I understand he's a rookie, and things like this happen. So, the Giants were never going to be a contender anyways this season. So the way their season's played out so far, it's okay, I guess. Next game, Dolphins at Browns. The Browns won this game 41-24. Dolphins never stood a chance. The Browns were just clearly a more talented team than the Dolphins. And Baker Mayfield probably had his best game of the season against the Dolphins. He was actually looking like rookie Baker Mayfield, because like this season, I don't know if it's Baker Mayfield getting exposed. I don't know if it's sophomore slump. But this season, Baker Mayfield just hasn't been good. But this game against the Dolphins, pretty much anyone that plays the Dolphins looks good. And Baker was just the latest one. But this Browns team, they're 5-6. I believe they've won 3 in a row, maybe 2 in a row. I don't know, but this Browns team, their schedule's pretty easy moving forward. They can actually make a playoff push. I don't think they will, but don't be shocked if this Browns team turns it around. I don't think 9-7 gets them to the playoffs, but I'm pretty sure 10-6 does. Problem is, they play the Ravens. So, you know how the Ravens are doing right now, they're just balling out. But the Browns did beat the Ravens earlier this season, so hey, maybe the Browns can beat them again and sneak into the playoffs at 10-6 as a 6th seeder. Maybe even the 5th seed if the Bills start losing. Next game, Steelers at Bengals. Steelers won this game 16-10. Mason Rudolph is trash. Mason Rudolph got benched because he was trash. And yes, that's pretty much it with this game. I mean, there's not much to talk about. I mean, the Bengals, they're 0-11. The Steelers, well, they're 6-5, but I don't think anyone really considers the Steelers as a legitimate threat in the AFC. I mean, yeah, they can make the playoffs, but they'll get bounced out in the first round. I mean, they ain't got a quarterback. Yeah, their defense is nice, but if you ain't got a quarterback and you're playing in the playoffs, odds are you're going to lose. Next game, Broncos at Bills. The Bills won this game 20-3. It was a pretty easy win for the Bills. I mean, the Bills are doing their thing on defense, stopping teams. That's what they do. Offensively, 20 points. You know, it's not too bad when you consider that they were playing the Broncos, because the Broncos do have a very solid defense. I feel like their defense is extremely underrated, but I mean, this is a game that you expect the Bills to win. You know, the Bills want to contend in the playoffs. This is a game the Bills should win, and this is a game that the Bills did win. I think it was a good win by the Bills. I mean, they did their job. That's pretty much it. Next game, Panthers at Saints. This one was a little fun one. I don't know how in the world Kyle Allen got into a shootout with Drew Brees. That's pretty fun, man. At one point, I believe the Saints were up like by quite a bit early in the game, and I was like, well, that's game. The Saints are going to blow them out, but the Panthers just didn't quit, man. They actually almost won the game, but the kicker ruined the game for them. How in the world, man? Like, that sucks. Like, you do everything right, you're probably going to upset the best team in your conference, and then your kicker misses a kick. That's gotta suck, but the Saints, they're 9-2, arguably the best team in the NFC, arguably the best team in the NFL, and the Panthers, well, they fought a 5-6. Their season's done, but this Panthers team is very interesting. They still have a nice defense. Kyle Allen, I'm still not sold on him, but he has done some nice things here and there. And, of course, you got Christian McCaffrey, man. The guy, if the Panthers would have made the playoffs, I think Christian McCaffrey deserved some legitimate MVP votes, because the guy's having a crazy good season to this day. Someone else that's having a crazy good season, Michael Thomas. The dude's going to end up breaking Marvin Harrison's reception record. I mean, Michael Thomas is easily the best wide receiver in the NFC South. That's right, Julio fans, Falcons fans. Michael Thomas is better than Julio Jones. You know, don't get me wrong. I like Julio, but Michael Thomas, the guy is just crazy good, amazing. The next game, Buccaneers at Falcons. Just when I thought the Falcons finally figured it out. I know it was going to be too late anyways if they did figure it out, but I finally thought they did something. But then they come out here and show us that they're still the same Falcons. They lost 35-22 to the Buccaneers. I mean, it's not that the Buccaneers are like a terrible team. They're coached by Bruce Arians, one of my favorite coaches in the NFL, but still though, man, you blow out the Saints. You blow out what was it, the Panthers. And then you get blown out by the Buccaneers. I just think Dan Quinn is done. I think he should get fired after the season. As for the Buccaneers, I've been saying it all season. I feel like they're the ultimate boomer bust team. One week they might show up, the next week they might suck. Like, you never know what you're going to get out of these Buccaneers. That's why I enjoy these Buccaneers. Like, even though Jameis Winston has done like 20 interceptions, the Bucs are pretty fun to watch. You never know what they're going to do. Next game. This one is disappointing. Raiders at Jets. The Jets won this game 34-3. What happened, Raiders? I was on the Raiders bandwagon, man. I was legitimately believing in the Raiders. Like, man, this Raiders team, it's young. It's going to get better. They're going to do some things. They're going to make the playoffs. Might not win a game, but they're still going to be there. John Gruden's doing a good job. And then they go over there to New York, and they lay an egg. You know, I'm just going to write this down as, you know, stuff happens. You know, sometimes in the NFL, teams lose games that they aren't supposed to lose. And sometimes, yeah, it happens to be in an embarrassing fashion. Kind of like how the Saints got blown out by the Falcons a few weeks ago. Hey, things happen, man. And, you know, maybe for the Raiders, it was just that. Things happen. The Jets, they're 4-7. I mean, I don't think, even if they win out, I don't think they can make the playoffs. The Raiders, though, they were in a good spot. They were sitting at 6-4 with the win. They would have been 7-4, playing for the division next week versus the Chiefs. But now they're still somewhat playing for the division, but now they're going to have the same record as the Chiefs if they were to beat the Chiefs next week. So not where they'd want to be. This was really a game that the Raiders should have won, but they didn't. Maybe the fact that they went from all the way from Oakland all the way to New York, you know, West Coast, East Coast, literally across the country, maybe that affected them, but I don't know, man. I'm just extremely disappointed in the Raiders. Next game, Seahawks at Eagles. Seahawks won this game 17-9. Honestly, I feel like the Eagles were never in this game. Like, even though it was technically an 8-point game, like, I just never felt like the Eagles were going to do anything. I don't know if it's Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz, the offensive line, Carson Wentz's receivers. It's just a whole mess over there in Philadelphia, man. Like, they're not going anywhere this season, even though they're one game behind the Cowboys. I don't think this Eagles team is going to go anywhere. And the Seahawks didn't even play that well, dude. Like, Russell Wilson didn't have his typical MVP game. He didn't. And I still felt like the Seahawks dominated them. They didn't even have Clowney. Like, the Eagles, I think they're done, man. Stick a fork in them. Like, yeah, that's a yikes for me, honestly. Next game, Lions at Redskins. The Redskins won 19-16. Okay, look, I'm not going to talk about this game because this game is pretty much irrelevant. I'm going to talk about what came out of this game. So, Dwayne Haskins, quarterback for the Redskins, he took a selfie with a fan near the end of the game, and he ended up missing the kneel down. That's fine, you know. Dwayne Haskins was just taking a picture with a fan. The dude paid money to go watch the Washington Redskins. I mean, who in the world would pay money to go watch the Washington Redskins to begin with? So the dude paid money to go watch them, and then Dwayne Haskins took a picture with him, a selfie. And then you got all these damn people complaining about it. Like, oh, why in the world is Haskins doing that? Blah, 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 blah. He shouldn't have done that. Go take the knee. Blah, 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 blah. Like, Jesus Christ. The Redskins, they won their first home game since, like, early 2018. Redskins Stadium, pretty much empty. Nobody wants to watch the Redskins. And you're getting mad at Dwayne Haskins for giving one of your fans, one of the Redskins fans, kind of like a lifetime memory. If Dwayne Haskins ends up being the future quarterback for the Redskins, don't you think that Redskins fan is gonna remember that moment for the rest of his life? Don't you think the rest of the Redskins fans are gonna love Dwayne Haskins because of it? Like, I just hate the Redskins organization, man. I think the Redskins are the worst run team in the NFL. They're a complete mess. If you're complaining about your young quarterback, your rookie quarterback, doing something like that for a fan, then I feel like your priorities are fucked up, honestly. You should be worrying about something else. Anyways, moving on. Next game. Jaguars at Titans. Titans won this game 42-20. This game was actually 7-3 at halftime. For the third straight week, the Jaguars got blown out by an AFC South rival. Doug Marrone is probably going to get fired. Nick Foles has looked like trash these past 2 weeks. Maybe the Jaguars made a mistake and they should have stuck with Gardner Minshew. The Jaguars, their season's done. The Titans, well, they get to 6-5. I think they're like 4-1 with Ryan Tannehill, so that's kind of impressive. But yeah, I mean, the Titans won the game they should have won. That's pretty much it. I mean, at first it was close, but the Titans pulled away, kind of similar to how I think the Colts did it, and I know the Texans did it, because the Texans were up like 9-3 at halftime versus the Jaguars, and then they blew them out in the second half. I think the Colts were kind of close as well. I think it was like 10-7 or something like that, and then the Colts ended up blowing them out last week. So yeah, this Jaguars team, man, I think they've given up on their coach. Next game, Cowboys at Patriots. Patriots won this game 13-9. This was a very rainy game. Very rainy, I mean, ugly game. Receivers were dropping balls. Offenses couldn't get going. Amari Cooper got shut out by Stephon Gilmore. And then you have the tripping calls. I just hate the NFL refs, man. Like, I don't get me wrong. I don't think the Cowboys would have won the game regardless. But still, you know, like, it's bad reffing. Bad officiating. Everybody was pretty much watching this game. Everybody saw how bad it was. Not only that, it kind of delays the game. Oh, you know, they call a flag. And then there's like 30 seconds wasted right there. It changes the pace of the game, calling these unnecessary flags, these wrong flags, because it wasn't tripping. Both of them weren't tripping. But I mean, well, what can you do? Honestly, like, it is outrageous. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I said, like, I don't think the Cowboys would have won this game regardless. But still, you would like to see a game this big between two potential playoff teams well officiated. Instead, you get tripping twice. Yeah. Now, let's just move on. Next game. Packers at 49ers. Earlier in the video, I said this game exposed some teams and showed some teams what they really have. Well, this is one of the games I was talking about. The Packers are pretenders. They're not real. They're not good. The Niners completely smacked them around. Packers defense, who was once upon a time, they thought they were good. Everyone thought they were good. Well, they couldn't stop the Niners offense. Aaron Rodgers And that Packers offense, they couldn't get going against this Niners defense. This Niners defense is the real deal. And I cannot wait till next week when the Niners face off against the Ravens. It's going to be fun to watch. Good defense versus good offense. Can't wait to watch that one. But back to this game. The Packers, I don't find them scary anymore. They got completely embarrassed by the Niners. At this point, I'd take the Niners, Seahawks, and the Saints over the Packers. And let's see how things go against the Vikings with this Packers team, because I feel like the Vikings might be better, but who knows? As for the Niners, like 3 weeks ago, I thought the Niners were not so good. Well, they had a very close game with the Seahawks, and they completely embarrassed the Packers. The Niners are for real, guys. Next game, Ravens at Rams. The Ravens won 45-6. Rams suck. Ravens are good. Ravens are looking unstoppable. That's pretty much it. The Rams, their offense sucks. Todd Gurley, arthritis. He hasn't been the same since. Jared Goff got figured out. Sean McVay can't help him out. The Ravens, no one can figure out how to stop Lamar Jackson right now. And that's pretty much it, man. Like, the Ravens, they're probably going to end up as the number 1 seed in the AFC. And the Rams, well, at 6-5, I think their season's over. And what sucks about it, man, the Rams, they traded 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey, thinking Jalen Ramsey was going to solve all their issues. Well, guess what? Now the Rams, they have no cap space to re-sign Jalen Ramsey. They have no draft picks, and they're stuck with a terrible quarterback that they owe a bunch of money to. So yeah, the Rams are screwed. To make things worse, Russell Wilson plays in their division. That Niners defense isn't going anywhere. And guess what? I think Kyler Murray is the real deal too. So things aren't looking so well for the Rams' future. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys for today. Comment down below your own opinions on Week 12 of the NFL season. And be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.